The skies over Ukraine, once symbols of hope and resilience, are once again darkened by war. The threat is ever present, as the darkness is pierced by the distant rumble of explosions and the flash of anti-aircraft fire. Russian missile and drone attacks have hammered major cities like Kyiv and Kharkiv in a calculated escalation, targeting not only military positions, but also the very heart of civilian life. These strikes are designed to cripple Ukraine's infrastructure, knocking out power plants, water supplies and transportation networks, while also aiming to break the spirit and morale of ordinary people. Sirens wail through the night, explosions follow, and millions are forced to seek shelter in basements and subway stations. For many, peace remains a distant hope, replaced by a daily struggle for survival. The Kremlin's message is clear: Russia is not backing down. Hypersonic Kinzhal missiles and Iranian-made Shahed drones are being deployed with increasing frequency, demonstrating Moscow's willingness to escalate and innovate on the battlefield. These advanced weapons are being used to hit both military and civilian targets, blurring the lines between the front lines and the home front. The dual strategy is clear: degrade Ukraine's defenses by overwhelming air defense systems, and at the same time inflict maximum pain on the population to sap their will to resist. The human cost is staggering. Families are torn apart, homes are destroyed, and the psychological toll on survivors grows with each passing day. International condemnation has done little to halt the barrage. Despite urgent meetings and strong words from world leaders, the attacks continue unabated, leaving many to question what more can be done. In Kharkiv, life is a daily gamble. Attacks are frequent, destruction is widespread, and anxiety is ever present. Each day brings new dangers, and the city's residents live in constant fear of the next strike. Buildings are reduced to rubble, and the psychological toll is immense. Grief and trauma are etched on the faces of those who have lost loved ones, homes, and any sense of normalcy. This war is fought not just on the front lines, but in the hearts and minds of every Ukrainian. Acts of kindness and resilience shine through the darkness, as communities come together to support one another. The timing of these renewed assaults is strategic, as both sides seek an advantage in a grinding conflict that shows no signs of ending soon. Each move is calculated, each attack a message. Russia's renewed air campaign aims to break the stalemate and showcase its military endurance, sending a signal to both Ukraine and the world that it is prepared for a long and costly fight. Each missile is a statement. Moscow is prepared to continue, no matter the cost, determined to impose its will through relentless force. The world watches, knowing the stakes are higher than ever. As the conflict intensifies, the fate of Ukraine and the broader balance of power hangs in the balance, with consequences that will echo far beyond its borders. Russia's relentless missile strikes have zeroed in on Ukraine's critical energy infrastructure, targeting the very systems that keep the country running. Each attack is calculated, aiming to cripple Ukraine's ability to generate and distribute electricity. Power plants and substations are systematically destroyed, plunging entire cities and towns into darkness. The once bustling streets now fall eerily silent at night, illuminated only by the occasional flash of explosions or emergency lights. This is warfare, aimed not just at soldiers, but at civilians, turning daily life into a constant struggle for survival. Families huddle together in the dark, relying on candles and flashlights, while venturing outside becomes a dangerous necessity. Rolling blackouts disrupt work, school, and even the most basic routines. Children try to study by candlelight, and businesses are forced to close or adapt to the unpredictable power supply. Water supplies and communications falter, isolating entire communities. Without electricity, pumps stop working, and broken pipes leave residents scrambling for clean water. Phone and internet outages cut people off from loved ones and emergency services. For the vulnerable, especially the elderly and children, winter without heat is life-threatening. Many are forced to wear coats indoors, sleep under layers of blankets, and find creative ways to stay warm as temperatures plummet. Ukrainian utility workers risk their lives every day to restore power, braving dangerous conditions and ongoing attacks. Yet, repairs are often temporary, as new strikes undo their hard work. The government scrambles to protect what's left of the grid and to find alternative energy sources. Emergency meetings are held, backup generators are deployed, and efforts to install solar panels and other renewables are accelerated. The scale of destruction is staggering, making recovery seem nearly impossible. Entire neighborhoods are left in ruins, and the energy network is pushed to the brink of collapse. As winter approaches, dread grows among the population, last year's hardships may pale in comparison to what lies ahead. Long lines form for heating supplies, and anxiety is etched on every face. Russia's strategy is clear: use the cold as a weapon, hoping that freezing temperatures will break the spirit and resilience of the Ukrainian people. For Ukraine, survival now means enduring not only missiles and bombs, but also the relentless assault of winter's freezing temperatures. Every day is a test of endurance and hope. The fight is not just for territory, but for the basic necessities of life: warmth, light, water, and connection. In the face of adversity, Ukrainians come together, sharing what little they have and supporting one another through the darkness. President Zelensky is frustrated by the limits of Western military aid. He's pleaded for U.S. Tomahawk missiles to strike deep into Russian territory, hoping to deter further attacks. Washington fears escalation. Supplying such weapons could provoke a dangerous response from Moscow. Zelensky feels forced to fight with one hand tied as his cities suffer daily bombardment. In a bold move, he's invited former President Trump to Kyiv, challenging him to witness the war firsthand. It's a high-stakes appeal, seeking help from anyone who might shift the balance. The plea underscores Ukraine's desperation for decisive support. Donald Trump claims he could end the Ukraine war in 24 hours if elected. He touts his negotiation skills, promising a quick ceasefire through direct talks with Zelensky and Putin. Critics call this unrealistic. Ending such a complex conflict isn't a matter of a single meeting. Reports suggest Trump's plan might involve pressuring Ukraine to cede territory, a non-starter for Kyiv. Zelensky's invitation puts Trump's claim to the test, but risks alienating the Biden administration. Ukraine is hedging its bets, seeking support from all sides as U.S. politics shift. The future of the war may hinge on America's next move. Western sanctions were meant to cripple Russia's economy and war machine. Instead, they've sparked a wave of domestic innovation and self-sufficiency. Russia is developing its own technology, from cancer vaccines to advanced rocket systems and laser weapons. Civilian industries are adapting too. The MC-21 passenger jet is now built with Russian-made parts, and efforts in microelectronics are underway. The Kremlin frames this as a story of national resilience, turning sanctions into a rallying cry. While the long-term impact is uncertain, Russia's economy has not collapsed. The sanctions paradox pressure has fueled unexpected adaptation. Russia's ability to sustain its war effort has surprised many in the West. The world must now reckon with a more resilient adversary. The Ukraine war is spilling beyond its borders. Russian strikes have hit near NATO territory, testing the alliance's resolve. Cyber attacks on Western institutions are escalating, blurring the line between war and peace. In the Black Sea, Russia enforces a de facto blockade, threatening global food supplies and risking naval clashes. Each new front, air, sea, cyber, forces NATO to respond on multiple levels. Moscow signals it's undeterred by Western support for Ukraine. Every provocation is a calculated risk, pushing the world closer to direct confrontation. The conflict is now a dangerous game of brinkmanship. The stakes, not just Ukraine's future, but global security. The world stands on edge as escalation looms. The Ukraine war has become the epicenter of a global power struggle, drawing the attention of the entire world. What began as a regional conflict has now evolved into a defining moment for the international system, with far-reaching consequences for global security and stability. Russia's resilience and innovation in the face of sweeping Western sanctions have surprised many, challenging long-held assumptions about the effectiveness of economic pressure. Despite isolation, Russia adapts, finding new partners and developing homegrown technologies to keep its economy afloat. The world is fracturing into rival economic blocs as Russia and China deepen their cooperation and openly resist U.S. influence. This growing divide signals a shift away from a unipolar world, with new alliances forming and old ones being tested. The possible return of Trump to the White House adds another layer of uncertainty. His America First stance could dramatically reshape global alliances, potentially weakening traditional partnerships and emboldening rivals. A U.S. pullback from its global commitments might embolden Russia to push further into Eastern Europe, leaving European leaders anxious about their security and the future of NATO. The post-war order, built on rules and international law, is now at stake. The world faces a critical question: will the future be governed by law and diplomacy, or by force and coercion? The conflict in Ukraine accelerates existing trends toward multipolarity and intensifies great power competition. as countries seek to assert their interests and shape the emerging world order. The outcome of this struggle will define the future of international relations, setting the tone for cooperation or confrontation in the decades to come. The question is no longer just about Ukraine's survival, it is about the direction the world will take toward unity and peace, or or division and conflict. For now, the risk of a wider war remains frighteningly real, casting a shadow over the hopes for a stable and peaceful future.